Well, hi there, everybody. Good morning. Meteorologist Travis Klineski here on this Wednesday morning where we continue to see our departing storm system exit our area. Still some lingering clouds in eastern Nebraska. Most of the clouds are now along and east of Highway 77, which is this highway right here. The rain's pretty much done at this point. Winds remain blustery over eastern Nebraska, kind of breezy in central Nebraska, lighter to the west and to the northwest. And so it's very cold here to start, not as cold to the east, but it feels chilly out there. We've got wind chills between the single digits in the Panhandle and the 30s in eastern Nebraska. Temperatures are between the teens and the 40s from west to east this morning. How about things as the day goes on? Well, the strongest winds will be in the east. They will be stronger this morning and then back off a little bit this afternoon. We will continue to see clearing skies to the east. The rest of us, plenty of sun, a few clouds in the Panhandle. Heading into tonight, winds will die down. Basically, high pressure right in here is going to kind of scoot over the area. So light winds overnight, mostly clear to partly cloudy skies, but clear enough that we are going to see a chilly night ahead of us here. Tomorrow, a cold front moves into northwest Nebraska. That said, there's not a lot of cold air right behind the front, so we will warm up tomorrow after the cold start. A couple of passing clouds with that front, but otherwise plenty of sunshine. We're going to pick up on some breezy northwest winds behind the front. Again, it will warm up though tomorrow despite the cold front coming through. We'll feel that colder air towards the end of the week. In fact, we'll cool back down Thursday night into Friday morning. A couple of passing clouds. Friday and Saturday are going to be cooler days before things start to change heading into next week here. Going to throw in a couple of extra graphics real quick here. But first I want to get into, sorry, I'm kind of improvising here. I want to get into the highs for today here. High temperatures today, pretty uniform across the area. 50 to 54, maybe 49 to 54 is what we'll go with here. So mostly lower 50s though for the majority of us. A quick look around the area. Lots of sunshine, not as much wind to the west and northwest. Lower 50s for highs. A little bit breezy, but not too bad. Low 50s here. Plenty of sunshine in the west, low 50s. A little bit more of a breeze in here. Could be as warm as 54 or 55 today around Franklin, Elma, Phillipsburg, Kansas. More wind towards Minden, Franklin, Smith Center. Lots of wind in the east. Showers are done. Still some lingering clouds right in here, which will give way to more sun as the day goes on. But wind, low 50s for highs, low 50s up in the northeast. Still some wind right in here. Not as much wind back to the west. Plenty of sunshine. Some lingering clouds here, which will gradually clear on out. Tonight, well, actually for this morning, we do actually have a freeze warning that's in effect until 11 o'clock this morning across southwest Nebraska. Tonight, after midnight, that's 1 a.m. tomorrow morning through 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, a freeze watch, which will eventually become a warning. That is in place for south central, southeast Nebraska, north central, northeast Kansas. Basically areas that have not seen a true hard freeze yet, or most of these areas haven't yet. So pretty much everybody else has. But this is what's going to basically end the growing season for us. Those low temperatures tonight will be down in the mid to upper 20s and lower 30s. We tend to underestimate these lows a little bit, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's a few degrees colder. So again, we should pretty much end the growing season tonight. Tomorrow, the nice recovery. We do get up into the upper 50s and lower 60s despite the cold front coming through. Now with that front though, it will be a bit on the breezy side tomorrow afternoon. And then we get colder again tomorrow night, back down into the upper 20s and lower 30s, some mid 30s out there. And then we've got a kind of a stretch of cool days ahead for Friday and Saturday. Friday, high temperatures, mid to upper 40s and low to mid 50s. Coolest up north, warmest in the south. We're chilly again heading into Saturday morning, down into the 20s and lower 30s. Now, one thing between Friday and Friday night, I do want to mention here, of course, that is Halloween. Here's your highs. High temperatures occurring 3 to 4 o'clock this time of the year. So keep in mind, 6 o'clock when trick-or-treaters are heading out, 6:30, 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock, down in the 40s, and I think there'll even be some 30s out there, especially up north, as we get into that trick-or-treating time. So it's going to be a little bit chilly for the kiddos out there. So if you are sending out kiddos, make sure they're bundled up at least appropriately. Not super cold, but it will be quite cool out there for Halloween evening. But again, there's your lows by Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, a cool day. Upper 40s, mid 40s, low 50s. Nicer in the Panhandle. It's going to be a cool one out there for Saturday, and that does include in Lincoln. Now that, of course, is a 6:30 p.m. kickoff at Memorial Stadium. The blackout there. The high will be 51, but by game time, it'll be colder than that here. Let's take a look at the Husker forecast for Saturday evening. That's, of course, the USC Trojans and the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the blackout. Of course, if you are heading to the game, make sure you wear all black. The players will, the fans are expected to as well. Ditch the red. It's not going to be a sea of red for Saturday evening. Now, if you're watching right here on Local 4, if you're watching in North Platte on News 2, well, you'll be nice and warm inside. But if you are watching at Memorial Stadium, plan on some cool weather. Temperatures will be in the 40s, maybe even down to the upper 30s by the time the game ends. And it will be, at least the winds, though, will be fairly light. Skies will be mostly clear out there for Saturday evening. Let's check out the rest of the forecast here as we look at the next 7 days. Again, of the next 4 days, tomorrow's the one that's a little bit warmer than all of the others. We've got some cold nights ahead that will pretty much end our growing season. Things flip on a dime after Saturday. Sunday, much better weather. And we'll keep it on the milder side of things Monday and Tuesday, a little breezy, but otherwise no active weather expected. And it looks like we'll mostly be looking at low and mid 60s next week here, which by that point in early November will be above average. North Platte, very similar, again, of the next 3 days, or 4 days. Tomorrow's the warmest. Otherwise, some cool days here. Then as we get into Sunday, it warms up. And we'll keep it in the 60s into Monday and Tuesday. The lows won't be nearly as cold. So most of next week is settling to a slightly warmer weather pattern here, and mainly dry still as we go through next week. As we look at next week, basically starting next Wednesday and beyond, we are very likely to remain above average during that time, according to the Climate Prediction Center, and we're probably still looking at below average precipitation. There's still not a lot in store. Maybe towards the end of that, we'll see, as some moisture may try to dive south here. I don't see a lot in our forecast here. We've got a couple of cold fronts, but no major storm systems to bring moisture. We're northwest flow, which usually doesn't bring as much moisture as southwesterly flow does. Later next week, maybe something, but right now not seeing anything that really screams out good precipitation chances. Here's the GFS model. Not a lot in store for our area over the next 7 to 10 days. A couple of cold fronts, but that's about it. That'll be interesting to watch next weekend, but that's the GFS. The European doesn't have much of that snow there in the north. All right, so we're still kind of cool today, but we do warm up temporarily tomorrow. It's not going to last long because we're cooling right back down Friday and Saturday. But then we warm things up on Sunday. And while it is a little cooler Monday, it's still going to be decent next week. Now, the European model wants to cool us back down a little bit here, but overall, we think we keep those temperatures near and above average most of next week. GFS is a little bit different next week. Here, we'll show you that. So again, cool today, warming up temporarily tomorrow right there, and then we're cooling back down Friday and Saturday. Sunday warm up there, slightly cooler Monday, but then they're still trying to keep that warm air in place most of next week. And then maybe next weekend, we'll see if we start to drop off next weekend as that cooler air tries to dive south. Long range models, again, don't want to rely on them too much, but it just gives us an idea of trends. And again, the GFS, it's a little more aggressive with that colder air next weekend, which would put us around the 8th and 9th of November. It tries to cool us off, whereas the Europeans not as much. I have been watching a lot of the long range models that are hinting at a cool down somewhere around the 9th, 10th, 11th of November. But overall, I've been looking at the long range models, and we're talking through the month of November, and it's shows that the majority of the month, with a few cool spells here and there, the majority of the month is looking above average right now. So if you were to look at a 30-day outlook, probably going to be more warm than cold, at least by November standards anyway. Of course, we're getting close to that time of the year here where it's cold even on the warmer days most of the time. So anyway, with that, that is your Wednesday forecast for today. I want to thank you all for watching here, and I will be back with you on Thursday as we look into all the latest. Take care, and God bless. Bye.